Hello, everyone. I'm not sure if you're live yet, but I think we'll get started. So welcome to Investing with the Difference. It's been a long time since we did a live stream again. And we are going to go and I'm going to go and post this into other channels so that people can join and know about the stream, where to connect. And we will try to discuss more about what's going on. I think it's a very exciting times like we live in, or of course chaotic times. I'm sure many of you are tracking what craziness is going on in this world around the financial markets, and of course we will already have gone through the 2020, which was significantly chaotic in for everybody, including the pandemic, the all the what happened with the stock market, the crypto market. We had a pretty crazy ride. So overall, I think again, as I keep saying, that it's a matter of looking at everything with a cool head and saying what can we make out of it? How can we see opportunities? What can we do ourselves to not react emotionally? And those are the kind of things which make or break how you do in this kind of chaotic world. So thanks, first of all. I think few people have already joined. So thanks for joining. I will keep an eye on the comments and so on, and would look forward to what you guys have to say about the recent events. So I think overall, before we start, I would also like to highlight that we have our Blockstart Ventures YouTube channel, which we do webinars with our investors. And as many of you know, that we have been running this venture fund, we wanted to help more and more investors make sense in this kind of crazy world of, a lot of people don't understand what's going on in Web3 and DeFi and so on. So we did some great webinars, a lot of good feedback from investors. We took some questions in that. So do search Blockstart Ventures. I will post the link after this stream to update the YouTube link. If you're watching the recording, hopefully by the time you see it, we have already edited and shared this channel. But I think it's very simple. You just search Blockstart Ventures in the YouTube and you will be able to see our channel and our previous webinars. Again, why I wanted to highlight that is because that shows a lot what we have been doing ourselves beyond, of course, running our incubator, developing products, and of course, helping the investor. So this has been keeping us busy, and thanks a lot for everybody who has been in this community for a very long time. I think we have not been very active, and still I see quite a lot of participation. So again, I would like to thank you for all that. Now I think we also need to, I want to keep this pretty much open. Do join us, in chat, ask questions, and we will try to take as many questions as we can. Now, going forward, I think the biggest thing which we are looking at is, of course, everybody is involved in crypto market. And what are you seeing on CoinMarketCap right now? They have even, I think they are put a meme here, Wall Street bets. By the way, this is not a real coin, but I think this highlights what's going on in this week. I think this is pretty crazy week with the Reddit group and a social movement completely kind of uprising and taking head on this Wall Street hedge funds. I'm sure, I think I don't have to repeat what happened. I'm sure all of you must be tracking the news and how this has been a really big defining moment in the financial markets, which I think not everybody is able to make sense of. But basic idea is that this whole markets, the financial markets, are kind of skewed towards like the big hedge funds, and they are kind of given preferential treatment. They can do things which a retail investor cannot do, and I think that highlighted the inequality. And these people decided that all this short, which people are shorting like more than 100% of the float, which should not be allowed anyway. And they created something called like infinity, as they call it, like liquidation, like infinite liquidation, where you can keep short squeeze, infinite squeeze as they call it, and you can make sure that people like there is not enough stock in the market to cover that short. So that's how they get squeezed out. This happened with GME, this happened with many other stock, and that is what is reflecting here. But on the other hand, another thing happened is people started pumping Dogecoin, which is, like, again, as you all know, in the crypto market, which is it's almost a meme. and there is no real significance other than it being a meme with the, and it started going 800% up since yesterday. And a lot of people who don't even know crypto market, they started learning about Bitcoin, but about everything else. So this is a kind of very big defining moment, I would call it, in crypto world. So and this is exactly why it matters, because why blockchain matters, why decentralization matters. I think people are now waking up to the fact that rules should be same for everybody. And a lot of people are learning. Like I'm in many groups, like, I don't know how many of you have been on the Clubhouse, which is the latest social platform, which is gaining a lot of attention. So do join us there, because I've been participating in some very interesting discussions there. You can just search me and follow me there as Raman Bindlish. And but the good thing there is that there are a lot of very, very, influential people in fintech space, in finance. Even like Reddit founder came up there and explained how they have been trying to keep a decentralized community, and how they are supporting somebody like Wall Street Bets. So this is, I think, overall a discussion is moving into decentralization. Overall, it's everywhere. Like people who never bothered about blockchain, who never bothered about decentralization, all those people are now looking at blockchain as a space. What we're hearing is Coinbase applications have again shot up. They are they are huge backlog in how many applications they can process. There is like crazy interest in Bitcoin in general. All of those things are, I think, one of the very positive sign for the space. And again, as I say, it's a matter of keeping your eyes open, understanding what the opportunities are here, and it's just a start. I would say the market size is huge, and I think we have been talking about it. This is why I say that in terms of macro picture, if you want to learn more, and we did talk about the Blockstart Ventures and our YouTube channel there, we do have a lot of things which we talk about there. So do join us there if you have interest in learning overall strategy which we are discussing. But again, coming back to the crypto market, I think DeFi coins have definitely taken attention. You see Uniswap and Aave kind of project which are going up in top 20, even overtaking the projects like EOS, which is, of course, I think we don't have to repeat again and again. That we have, I would not talk about price. I would not talk about the typical discussion we have in EOS community, which is about that yes, EOS has not participated in the rally, and it is still waiting for community to come back to it. I will discuss that later maybe, and I think most of you are part of the EOS community. That's what I think we spent a lot of time as investing in the difference in EOS, and we are even today, I would say, as a personally and as a professionally, we are investing a lot into this space, and that is because we still believe that that's the right technology to develop. But when we talk about investments, I hope most of you are also tracking what's happening in DeFi, because ultimately that will also impact what will happen in something like EOS. Because right now, if you go to like Ether gas station, I can just tell you that it's impossible to have any kind of transaction being done in Ethereum. So all of these things which are happening, and which really happened originally in where we were kind of disappointed about how we have not seen enough traction in something like EOS, those benefits still remain. And let me show you that this is the Ethereum gas price today. This is 88 GUI. This means that even for the smallest transaction, that means even if you're doing a very, very basic action, which it will cost you $2.56 per transaction. On the other hand, this is not a typical DeFi transaction. The typical DeFi transaction is almost like 50 times of this, or at least 10 times of this. So you're paying $20, $30, $40 for making a single transaction. That is the reality of Ethereum right now in terms of DeFi. So there is no solution today which exists to scale it up. Similarly with Bitcoin, I think we saw what happened in 2017-18 when people were paying $50 transaction fees. I think there is still, this is just a start. Ethereum is a great place for innovation. We have, I think if we just look away from maximalists and so on, ultimately it's a matter of growth of the space and how this can be scaled further. I think that's what would matter. So, and we still believe that EOS has a long way to go in that, and EOS can be the layer 2 for many of these things. And bridges are being built. I think if you're tracking what is happening in Liquid apps and many other communities, which we are very closely participating in, developing, as well as helping take this forward. I would say that we are almost there where EOS is ready for taking this Ethereum DeFi forward. So again, going back to, I think a lot of people have these concerns. I would not go into that. I think there's enough spaces where people have been talking negatively about EOS and getting frustrated. And I think it's for fair reasons if you're an investor. But as a technology person, I think I'm still super excited about what's happening there. But overall, it's a matter of what is the market? Like the market is expanding. So we need to always focus on like what is happening in this chaos in last 1 week. And then going back to the original discussion with how people are coming back into this space where they're saying that, okay, how do I participate in a fair system? Why I should not be looking at a rigged market like stock market. And that's what happened when people started buying Bitcoin yesterday after Robinhood went ahead and blocked many users from buying stocks. And even today, I think they are putting kind of limits on how many stocks you can buy for each position, which is crazy. And these are the clearing houses. These are like when we talk about free markets. It's very interesting that how we are turning into a completely controlled market where you cannot even make your own financial decisions anymore. So these are the kind of things which are actually creating the anger on the street. It's creating a lot more, a big movement as a social movement towards the decentralization. And I think that is what is very exciting to watch. And personally, I think this is a defining moment on how these things will really go further. By the way, I'm just looking at the chat, and I think there's some people mentioning, there's a question there saying, do you know if Google is still trying to be block producer? From Enrique. So I think the Google as a block producer, I think they have been registered. We haven't seen a lot of action from them in terms of doing more than just registering for that. So I do not know anything more than what you guys know. So it's a matter of I think what we want to do is just look at what is like, it's a running network. Forget about Google, forget about anybody. I know that a lot of people have focused on governance and the block producers because we got too attached. And I'm part of it. I think early on in EOS days, we were very attached to some of the block producers who were easy to access. We were talking to them, and we wanted these to be the top 21, and they added a lot of value. And definitely that is something which would have really helped. But still, it's a 2.5 years. We have a very, very strong network running without any failures. We have pretty good system, like where you can run smart contracts at a very fast speed. We ourselves are running maybe tens of smart contracts. I personally am involved in, and we have not seen major issues. And the biggest thing is we are able to provide free transaction to users. It's like very active chain. All those things is what I think we should look at instead of focusing on the politics of it. Of course, I understand that there is always, I think we built the narrative in EOS community early on that we wanted some specific quality block producers. But I think it's a matter of decentralization is not easy. And as long as the chain is running fine, and we do see value being created overall in the platform by keep running this, like in a kind of a fair way. I think we went towards most of the other networks. For example, when we looked at Tezos, Cardano, all of these, any Ethereum based network which is proof of stake, they are also going towards this lowest cost, and where the users as a token holder should get the reward. I think we were being too idealistic in EOS world, where we wanted all the inflation to go to block producers so that they could spend on it. I think that model was by definition flawed, maybe I would say, because the capital voted in against that. Means people wanted their staking rewards and so on. Probably community focused too much on it, and we started giving up. But that is not, I think, what we should focus on. We should focus on technology. We should focus on what apps are being built, and then you will realize that how far ahead EOS is versus other chains. Again, I think there's a question from on the chat. How do you compare Cardano with EOS? It's very difficult to compare. I think EOS is a running chain for 2.5 years. Cardano is not even there yet. So it's basically very, very difficult to compare something which doesn't exist versus or doesn't have any comparable kind of performance metrics or what is happening in reality. versus you're talking about a promise and potentially a future platform. So I think every blockchain, we appreciate the efforts being put. We believe that everybody's trying to solve the same problem. But the market size, as I mentioned, is so huge. Means even today I was in this one of the fintech forums and people were talking about scalability. People are like, if you the current usage of blockchain is very, very low. We are talking about 0.0001% people who are actually interfacing. We are not talking about people who buy the currency. We are talking about people who really use a smart contract, who interact with a smart contract. They are probably a handful of the people. So it is still very early. We need to understand that. And this whole narrative, which unfortunately has been built by Ethereum and Bitcoin maximalists, which carried forward in individual chains like Cardano, EOS, and everybody. I think everybody is in crypto has been very toxic. They talk about like this, which chain is better. I don't think that's the way to go. And so that's what we love about some of the new forward-thinking people in even like in EOS world. Like when we are very actively working with Liquid Apps technology, which only focuses on cross-chain, don't care about base layer. We are looking at Bancor announcing that they are going to do a Polkadot integration. The Polkadot is also very exciting because they allow any chain to connect. So I actually appreciate all those efforts because the market is so big that you need to build a network of blockchains and then you connect with all of them. And in any technology, any developers you can get hold of, because this is not a fight within the blockchain community between one chain to other. It's a fight of the centralized authorities with decentralized systems. And more than ever, I think this week is representative of that what a decentralized communities can do, and they can take on the centralized world. I think that is what we need to focus on. Again, going back to the whole thing about what is happening in, for example, like what is the potential here. I will go back to the discussion I was having with in this fintech group again earlier today, where they were talking about stable coins, like how can they replace the whole banking systems, how like everybody who is who is working in this area, they realize that the whole payment system, the banks, ACH and the wire transfers, they are so rigged for, against the small merchants, against the consumer. Even though we don't realize it, it impacts everybody so much with all those middlemen fee. And the way at the pace this innovation is happening, I would say that this is going to be very exciting times when we see that slowly and surely this progress is being made, where we will be seeing some of these technologies actually going and taking these centralized authorities head on. And I would say that this is just a start. This is just a start that people are organizing and accepting like the non-standard view, anti-establishment view, which is to bring the equality in the world, where we are saying that it has to be bottom up ultimately. I think that's what will change this system. Rick has a great point saying that Grayscale has just picked EOS and Polkadot. So let me clarify what really happened. So Grayscale is registering a trust. So what they do is they create a trust which can be listed on stock exchanges, and they allow a holding entity which can be traded on stock markets while holding the crypto as a basis of it. My view is that EOS, even though they have reserved the name, right now it is not that they have launched or they have started buying. So I would say that this is more like a promising future step, but it is not really something which is a done deal. So let us not read too much into it for now. It may not have an immediate impact on EOS, but definitely I think if EOS picks up, I'm sure they will launch it in real stock market, and that can be a huge boost because as you know that Grayscale buys almost all the mined Bitcoin and some more on a regular basis. So basically anything which miners are mining right now, only one entity like Grayscale can absorb all of that. That's the kind of demand they're creating. And I think and this is amazing. This is really amazing how they are they are trying to provide like a kind of a workaround for ETFs. Like we never had ETFs of Bitcoin. We never had like SEC was not approving those, and these amazing Wall Street innovators which are actually trying to bring crypto to the average user, they're trying to achieve. But again, I'm not a big supporter of that because they have a very biased system again. What Grayscale does is they offer the big accredited investors and so on, and all the big players a window to buy this Bitcoin on discount while they're selling in stock market at a huge premium. So it's not always in favor of, and it's not always fair for everybody. And but I think it's definitely a good tool, especially for people who don't have any other way to buy Bitcoin, especially for people who are trying to buy it in a kind of a retirement account or something where you cannot direct your funds outside the standard approved stock market instruments. Then definitely it's a good exposure for them. So it's kind of a balancing act they need to do. And so I would not be super excited about what Grayscale has been doing as a company, but of course it has a huge impact on crypto and demand. So if EOS fund is all launched, it will be a big step. But just to clarify the news, which I hope people are not taking it wrongly, it's not yet established. It's they have just registered the name, and they have not really started buying yet, and they have not declared when they will be starting to buy. So this is just a very early stage in preparation for a potential. Maybe you don't never know in the background what is happening, whether they're tracking what EOS is planning to launch as Profi, and they're expecting a big demand on EOS coin. So that is definitely possible. But that will be something which we will observe and see how that evolves. So Phoenix says Happy New Year. Definitely Happy New Year. We did, by the way, we had a Happy New Year stream 3 weeks back. So, but again, it's not too far into, even though it feels like we have seen so much in 2021 already, especially with the recent events. But yeah, definitely we are still early on in this year and very excited about 2021. For many reasons, I think, which I discussed earlier, and also I think what is happening. And again, Phoenix, I think your question is about Wall Street bets, and I think we were discussing this at the start of the stream, and I'm very excited. I would say this is one of the biggest moment in decentralization. I think this is a form of decentralization. This is a form of how things are really progressing as a community. And when I say community, this is not about a small community. I'm talking about the whole humanity is moving in the direction where people are realizing how rigged the systems are, how they are trying to take benefit of you, right? Once people start realizing that what has been told by authorities, by regulations and so on, that is not fair, the rules have been skewed in the favor of big, I think that's when they look for solutions. And that's solution already exists. Like you and me who are in crypto space, why we are here is because of this transparency, that Bitcoin is same for everybody. Smart contract platforms like Ethereum and EOS are same for everybody. They are not different for everybody. So that is, I think, what will bring huge hordes of new crowd into crypto space. And that makes that definitely, I'm super excited about that. And we have been discussing this, like everywhere you go right now, everybody is looking at this as a big thing on what is happening this week. So I won't be surprised if we see a new money coming into crypto because of this, totally new set of users who have never considered Bitcoin or any other coins. Coinbase, I think, is seeing a crazy kind of demand, as we discussed at the start of the stream, and that will bring money into all the different currencies and knowledge. And remember that the biggest thing which Coinbase, which I like about Coinbase, is their earn program, and where they teach about different currencies, and people will go once they onboard on that platform, they will get invitation to get this free coins and so on. That is huge. I think all those things matter a lot in terms of onboarding this new set of investors who are coming in hordes now, because people are really unhappy and they're angry. Not just what happened with Wall Street Bet Reddit group, but after that, what happened with the Robinhood coming and blocking people from buying. There's a huge outcry, even from various different corners of politicians, like Republicans, Democrats. They are all together in it, which is very strange, like very rare in this kind of environment. So I think this is definitely a defining moment, what is happening this week, and we should all be very excited about all these events. So again, coming back to the stuff, so feel free to ask questions, guys. I want to keep it open. Just wanted to make some sense in this chaos, what is happening right now. Wanted to also hear the feedback from the community, what you all think in this environment of where we are headed. But overall, I think it's a big big win for the decentralization. It's a big win for getting attention to DeFi. Like, I think that is the future, because ultimately the finance is something which is right now being seized by these decentralized communities. All right, so Phoenix has another question. What is the thoughts on latest B1 VC interview? Maybe like your own take on it. I watched the video and respect the input you provided. Galaxy. I'm not sure I was part of the VC interview. I was part of the other stream where we were talking about, with the B1 technical VP. So I haven't seen the whole clip with Galaxy Digital. I would definitely want to catch up on that, but we are so busy building and so on, so we don't really spend time watching all the streams. But definitely I would be able to make a better comment on that. But in general, I think what I'm hearing is, if the summary is correct, is that ultimately these guys are still like Block One directly is planning to invest into products, as I think Brandon Bloomer is talking about. And also I think it's a matter of what is going on in Block One itself, their own projects. I hope that that can create a new demand for like for community products and so on. So let's go to the next question. If Wall Street Bets Group can grasp proof of keys, I would say that is still a difficult call. Means blockchain is not easy. Even when after yesterday, like after this whole Robinhood ban, and when they stopped people from buying these tokens, they started going after Dogecoin, and they did not even know that it's a crypto. So all those people, they are still early in this learning process. They are still trying to think of it as how can we go back and go against these institutions. And I think that's what is it will take time. I don't think they can understand the proof of keys. It will still be a custodial solutions which people will go for, but again, that is a learning step for everyone. So it's more of a matter of understanding the value of the assets. It's more about whether they can understand what's the real store of value. And again, I keep highlighting that if you go to our Blockstart Ventures webinars, that I think we need to focus on what is like, how we are, the value is seen, that how the crypto and Bitcoin and this whole DeFi market is attracting interest from everyday users who never looked at it because they did not want to. There was no real reason. People were told that these are the things which are not real, and now they are realizing the stock market is not real, and all of these things are made up by financial institutions to really benefit from small investors. So I think it will happen over time, but I think there's a long way to go before the adoption can happen. So as I keep saying, this is still early, and if you believe that something, if just because of a crypto rally and some coins going higher up versus others, this is nothing in comparison to what is on the table, right? What is the size of these markets? These numbers are so small right now that there is nobody is a winner here, right, yet, and there's a long way to solve those problems. And we still believe that there's potential. Again, we keep coming back to, means, let me remind you that I'm not a EOS maximalist by any standard, right? Means even though we develop on EOS, we still love the technology, but we are very actively looking at Ethereum, we are actively looking at Polkadot, we are actively looking at all the other platforms, and we love everything. Like, it's, as I keep saying, this is a big space. There are certain things which can be, Ethereum is great for certain things. Many other chains are coming up which are trying to solve the problems in their own way. But something which is up and running, means we cannot ignore it. Means even though this, like, commercial success, as we can call it, as a token, EOS has not been successful, but technically it's the most successful chain as per our, the development what we are doing. So in general, I would say that's it's very tough to call the market. I think the community has focused on the wrong things, and that is where I think we are struggling in EOS. So again, I don't want to repeat these things. We have discussed in many forums that yes, there is a challenge in getting more and more people into EOS. The price has not moved, and that's what attracts everybody. But I hope that people watch what is really happening on development side and see how this can be taken forward, because the problems are not solved yet. All the problems which EOS can solve, they are still not solved by anybody else. So that still exists. It's a matter of community coming together and using those products and not just speculating. Means I just hate that all these people who talk about EOS, I don't know how many of them use EOS, how many of them participate in these products which are developed on EOS, and then they compare with Ethereum. So I'm really amazed when I talk to some of these people who are in EOS communities. They have never done Ethereum DeFi. They have never compared Ethereum DeFi with EOS DeFi, and so they are like not really understanding the technological progress which EOS has done, and that's why we keep developing and we keep supporting anything happening on EOS. While I think yes, we have a long way to go to make it successful. So anyway, I think this is some of the comments I wanted to make. It's not, again, as I keep saying, it's not easy to keep a community together when the price has not moved, and we are seeing those things happening right now. And so it's very difficult, I think, for me to say things which will not be seen, with the frustration. So I would say that I would rather be not comment on it any further. So let's discuss what else is going on. I think all of us are like need to look at some of these ideas around what are like the changes, and we have to learn a lot from Ethereum from that perspective. Whether we love it or hate it, Ethereum is the place where there is a lot of money being locked. So let's go to DeFi Pulse. Probably I would say I love that to track those things, because ultimately the biggest change which happened in summer of 2020 is the growth of DeFi and these products. So I will try to see if I can see, you guys can see this screen. So what is happening is we have 27.4 billion locked into these DeFi, and this is mostly Ethereum, let me tell you. There is hardly anything which is happening in any other chain. And if you look at the current gas fee, as I was talking about in the current earlier, the Ethereum gas fee is so big that most of 99% of the population who wants to interface and put money into this DeFi, they cannot do it. You have to move $50,000, $100,000 at a time to make sense out of it. So this is still an unsolved problem, and this can be solved by linking any layer 2 solution today. All of these chains, different chains, are trying to solve that problem. Now, when you see why this market is storing this, putting in $28 billion, why are users of Ethereum, they're throwing in that much money into DeFi? Because of, not because Ethereum is the best chain, it is because Ethereum provided them that option. There were development happening there. And people trust. There is also a factor of, where they have built systems which people can trust. For example, Ethereum contract is immutable once you put it, and you can give the keys, you can just remove the keys from the contract, so nobody can change it. Or you can only change a certain aspect of the contract. So these are the kind of things which I think the kind of decentralized communities have to be built in EOS, where the contract keys are MSIG. There are people whom, community selected people or trusted people are running the contracts. So people should learn the difference. On the other hand, when an end user will come and see that he wants to participate and he doesn't have any option to go and build this, participate in this DeFi without paying $50 fee, and if something like EOS comes along using a bridged liquidity between EOS and Ethereum, you should be able to do the same transactions for free. And that changes the game. And similarly, that's what I think every other chain is trying to do. So we are still early. I don't think this problem is solved, and there's no winner yet. But of course, what we are trying to say is that in next 6 months, 1 year, if some other chain comes and tries to scale Ethereum in a layer 2 kind of a solution, and EOS still gets behind and not really participate in it, then I would say, yes, we have lost the opportunity as a community. And that's why I keep reminding people that go participate in the projects and try and build this community further, provide liquidity into your DeFi projects, and not only like you're benefiting from it because you're gaining sort of what you can say the yields on it. And so I think that learning curve has to be completed. The people have to be encouraged to come into EOS DeFi, and that's what is keeping Ethereum up. Like, this is the only reason Ethereum is successful today is because of DeFi. Just like in 2017, it was all because of ICOs. In last 1 year, it has been because of DeFi, and no other chain has delivered anything outside Ethereum right now. So do not consider the price. If you see many of these coins like Polkadot is not even, doesn't even exist in any form, any smart contracts. They're still developing. It's still early days. I think the first parachain which we are seeing is going to come probably, is going to be functional in March or April. They're still on test nets. Similarly, Cardano, there is nothing productized yet. So don't worry about price movement, because these are similar to like EOS when it was not launched. We touched like $21, $22. It was not, mainnet was not even alive. There was nothing running on EOS. Still, there was speculation which took it to all-time highs. So those things happen, and then you all know what happened after 2 years. So it's, nothing is forever. Nothing is, unless you build on it. Unless you, Ethereum has been actually consistently building, and even Ethereum has struggled to go back to all-time high for so many years after hitting its high in 2017-18, and then it has only, like, it had fallen like every other coin by 80%, or only recently it has started going up. So it's a matter of building, and Ethereum did build. Ethereum did provide that value, and that's how it happened. So that is how I think, if most of the people, you are investors, or if you're looking for just the price, I would say you have to contribute as a community. You have to start participating and promoting your projects. Then only you will see real value. Not looking up to B1. Like nobody, like why should a decentralized community be looking at one entity to make this products? Because that's not, if that is the future of yours, I would say it will never succeed. If block one is only responsible for building those projects. So that's what I think I struggle with, and I'm not really kind of happy about overall community sentiment when the only discussion is about what block one is doing. While there are so many teams, like including us, and I think I have 10 more teams which we talk to very regularly, who are very actively building on EOS, and there's hardly any community support even for those projects, in terms of there are few people who are there in every community. But I think it's about usage. It's about promoting the usage of those projects that will build and this particular community further, because it's a running chain. It's a public chain which has a very good performance, and it has a very interesting projects and products being built on it. So I think that's something which people keep forgetting when we're complaining about how EOS has been doing. But again, I think today's topic, I don't want to go limit ourselves to EOS, because as I kept reminding, like we have much bigger scope. As personally, I'm while we're building on EOS, I think we are still participating in all kind of projects in a decentralized world. We are very actively participating in Ethereum DeFi for many months now, ever since we saw this craze in the summer of DeFi in 2020. And we are also actively looking into how we can help connect all these different chains, learn about the newer chains which are coming in. To learn more about our Blockstart Ventures activity, I keep reminding, please search Blockstart Ventures on YouTube, and I will also post the channel link. Phoenix, you have a comment about debt funding. I would say debt funding is an issue only if you don't see the opportunity. Like we are, as we are venture funds, we do fund a lot of teams. We have been developing projects. I think it's a matter of building products which can make money. Why do you need, like in a startup world, when people are in like a web 2 world? So we are talking about web 3 right now, but in the e-commerce world, when the internet came around, nobody was funding anybody. There was developers who saw the opportunity, they built products and they commercialized them. So I think it's so difficult for me to understand this mindset of, of course, I mean, I'm not saying that when I'm in front of, we are discussing Block One and the money they raised and they committed, I'm with everybody in the community that yes, Block One should fund, or maybe should have created a fund, or maybe EOS should have created a WPS. There are a lot of things which I was also against earlier, but I have changed my mind on that, because I see that some developers needed that funding. But overall, when you look at startups in any domain, you don't have to give them money. They should be able to raise money if they have a good, profitable idea. It is not something, yes, if you're talking about community tools and so on, like what originally some teams did, which they gave away all the IP to public interest. They did not charge anything for running, like, for example, wallets and services. I think it's just kind of means the community support could have been could have been helpful, but I would say that that is not a reason for us to say that that's a failure. I would say there's a big failure from community to ignore the technology strength and working on the products. And I would say yes, we would have been helped. Like we have spent our own money as Blockstart, as at Blockstart Ventures. We are raising money and we are actually investing into EOS projects, and we we have done that work, which probably that people are expecting from Block One. And we still are able to raise that money because we have investors who believe in it, and we ourselves, like personally, we are investing in it. So it's a matter of saying that yes, we can make it successful. But and the reason for that is not because we are saying that Block One will come and save us. It's more about we believe that we can build products on EOS which will matter to end user, and we can generate probably in long run we can generate revenues. And that's how startups are built. That's how companies are built. But of course, I can understand, because people in crypto world and in the ICO world always look at the development team, the protocol team, to go and spend that money on the chain. Unfortunately, I think people did not understand the ICO of EOS, because that was never promised that they will go and spend that money other than what that 1 billion of VC fund. I understand that, and a lot of people are still questioning that 1 billion fund. But nobody is, see, if you are frustrated with Block One, I think all of us, we can just look back and say it has been 2.5 years now. If nothing has happened for community, nobody is keeping you hostage in this. A lot of people have left the community. I would say that that is it's very unfortunate if you are still keeping yourself in this community and in a bitter mode. I mean, that's not how you should. You should be either excited about something, or you should look away somewhere. It's not healthy as a mental state for anybody. If you're an investor who is just hoping, it's very irresponsible. If you're okay, there are two kind of people. One is a community which is excited about technology and disappointed, and developers. I can understand the developers being disappointed, but I do not understand community as investors and token holders being disappointed, because this has been out in the open. They have been very clear. Block One has been very clear that they're building their own projects. They are a different company. They are not responsible for EOS mainnet, and you could have left long time back. We are actively developing here because, and we are putting our money here because we do see that it's technically superior chain. We do believe that it is there is a huge potential here. And as a user, means I do so many transactions on EOS today, and I still love it, means because we do a lot of transactions on Ethereum also. Means I'm very active user of Ethereum. I'm very active users of Bitcoin. Every time I use EOS, even today, I appreciate it. When we do the same thing which we are doing in, like, for example, in DeFi on EOS versus Ethereum, it's so advanced that I cannot understand why, when you bring it to the end user, if you keep building products, why this will not be successful. While the price and action and all that, nobody can comment on it. Means the market can be irrational for a very, very long time. And that is not something I would like to comment. But again, I think the market being frustrated because we ended bear market on overall in crypto, and EOS is still in the same rut. I can completely understand the sentiment, but that is a decision you need to make on your portfolios. If you are emotionally attached to it, if it is impacting you, if you're not able to support technology because of your investment decisions, I think that's a very different thing. They are not overlapping in my eyes, and that should be a complete different discussions in terms of that. Yes, there is the token price has not done well because there was nothing major which was picked up in terms of and even when it picked up, I think community decided to just dump this token and focus on the wrong things. So, and again, these are speculation. Like, as I keep saying, none of these other projects are fundamentally deserve that valuation, and all of them are just a hype. It's about, as we can see, like, okay, let's go back into what has been happening in last 1 week. If you go by the standard metrics, the GME and all these AMC stocks should not be at that level, but it's just that the sentiment was, let's go and fight with these hedge funds, and the retail market started giving, they were even buying GME at $400, and approaching everybody else to say, go and buy. Now, this is the value which market gives you can depend on many different reasons. That doesn't create fundamental value. That doesn't create a long-term value. And so that's why I think we need to focus on like, what are you in it for? Are you in it for technology or it for speculation? And speculation has a totally different reasoning, and you can do much better in other ecosystems which are giving you much faster returns. Versus, I think we are in it mainly, like at this moment, I would say EOS is still the best place to develop. That's how I think, and we keep developing in this. So again, I think this is one of the reasons I think we have reduced our streams and so on, because it's becoming a repetitive discussion in EOS community. I understand a lot of people are frustrated, and again, I don't want to limit it. I think it's a mistake people do when they get stuck in one particular community. Like if you blockchain as a space is disrupting the real world, and we have to look up and become like, like that kind of a community which looks up and say, how can we add value? How can we work together with other chains and create value? And this is a technology revolution. This is just a mindset revolution. This is so I don't want to discuss the value part or saying what any entity could have done to help with the price of EOS. I think ultimately that's the discussion, right? Means nobody would have complained about Block One not doing anything if EOS price was $20 right now. Even if everything else remained same and EOS would have been at $20, I'm promising you, none of you would be complaining to Block One. So it's not fair, I would say, in terms of associating these two things. And I cannot comment on what Block One does internally. They have their own entity, they have their own shareholders, and EOS token holders are not the shareholders of Block One. That people keep forgetting. And everybody has their own duties to fill. And that is what I would say we should very carefully monitor in terms of what is that we are discussing. Are we discussing EOS, a community, technology, blockchain, or are we discussing the best speculative coin here? Means definitely EOS has proven to be the worst speculative coin, and we all have to accept it. We have to accept it that it was a bad like investment vehicle to ride this technology, or it may turn out to be best in future, just like many other projects were kind of unknown for a very long time and then they picked up. Like as we have seen, things happen very fast in this investment world. And this is the week when I think everybody should even understand that how these exponential rises can happen. When Dogecoin is moving up 800% in a day, when GME has gone up by like 2000% in a week, and many other such things which are happening right now, this should tell you that value can change and the perception of value can change very fast. What you cannot build is, you cannot build overnight. You have to build over very, very long time. You have to build these things which take long time, and the value will reflect one day. Market can be irrational for a long time, and then they can automatically adjust when you start seeing the real value, and suddenly the focus shifts, and that focus has to be shifted, and that is in the hands of community. That is not in the hand of one person or one entity. So I think we have some other questions coming in. There's a comment saying EOS needs incentives for developers to come build on EOS. I think the incentive is there to, for us at least as developers. We have never got any money. We have actually put our own money as development teams, and incentive is there because it's a great chain, great technology, and we believe that we can build profitable products, and we can provide services to enterprise. We can build solutions which can probably become big. So that's the incentive all we need. Of course, we have support from investors who believe in our vision. And if Block One throws in more money into it as an investor, we would be more than happy. And even and I hope more and more entities look into this as an opportunity right now and not just rely on Block One. I will keep repeating that. Do you own any other cryptocurrencies? I would rather not discuss that here because again, means we are a venture fund and we have some now responsibilities because we are registered under SEC Reg D. We cannot talk about those things which can impact what we own without proper disclosures. So unfortunately, I would rather not discuss that. But yes, if you want to join us in like our venture fund and understand our investment philosophies, we are more than willing to share with you Especially we can only cater to the accredited investors, unfortunately, because of the way these funds are structured. So if you are one of the accredited investors, we can definitely share more. But in terms of general strategies, I think you can, again, I would remind you that we have Blockstart Ventures YouTube channel. We are doing webinars, and we are more than welcome to share what we believe is happening in this exciting world of decentralization, DeFi, which we are big on, enterprise blockchain solutions, and we can share more details about how we believe. And we also have recently published our investment thesis on our Blockstart Ventures Twitter channel, so you can go and look at that for overall how we think about investments. But again, that is something which we can take it further in more suitable channels. Okay, the other questions are, have you bought any other airdrops? Not referring to airdrops, okay. Have you bought any other? I'm not sure the question. Again, I think it's related to investments. So it will be very, kind of unfair for me to start just dropping project ideas on what we are buying. But I think overall, I cannot say that we are very excited about DeFi. We believe that it's here to stay. It was not a flash in the pan, even though some of the valuations right now in the DeFi coins may be higher in Ethereum world, but many of those projects are legit. And we do believe that there is a huge opportunity here. If you are not tracking that, I would definitely advise everybody to learn more about that and look at what are the possibilities there. There's a question about Block 1 announcements again. I think all of us are in the same boat in terms of Block 1 announcements. I don't think I have any special information, but more I read between the lines on Brandon Bloomer tweets. I think their pro-fi, as they call it, and he's hinting at EOS assets. That means some sort of tethered assets on EOS. Whether they will be stable coins, I think they have been very clearly talking about Bitcoin on EOS. And I think I'm very excited about that because we all know, right, that EOS transaction speed is great. EOS based like DeFi can be so huge. And we are very actively developing in this space and also watching this space. I would say that if you can bring a liquidity like Bitcoin on EOS, that will just be a game changer. And again, I hate to be dependent on Block 1 to make EOS successful, because ultimately it's a chain, it's a huge chain. We keep forgetting that it's still a multi-billion-dollar chain in terms of market cap, and it has been running very successfully for a long time, as compared to, like, it's perhaps the second longest running, or it is actually not perhaps, actually it is the second longest running smart contract platform after Ethereum, which has already given up on scaling in terms of the base layer and looking at layer 2 solutions. So I would say that it is a very important thing for us to understand that liquidity in DeFi is everything. And we are providing liquidity in so many different projects. We are also looking to see how more and more community participation can happen. And I think that will change the game on how these things evolve. And once Block 1, which they are promising, the liquidity of Bitcoin on EOS, I think that is a game changer, because it's a matter of how do you what is Ethereum? As I keep reminding, Ethereum was like $150 before the summer of DeFi. And today it is at like 10 times more in less than 1 year, or actually in 6 to 8 months. And that is all because of DeFi. So I think things can change very fast. And the way DeFi is, it works is that it incentivizes people to move fast and to bring liquidity first, because as you build the network effect of DeFi, you are rewarding people for moving as fast as you can. And because of that, I think things move so much faster than what used to happen in the standard ICO days, or the capital used to come very slowly. People used to still wait for things to learn. And the other thing which I'm seeing, which is very unique in this wave of bull run, is that now the products are ready. Earlier it was a white paper, people were raising money on that, and now these people have learned, they're building the product first, and then they are coming and launching them, and then they are inviting liquidity. So it's very mature world right now. What you're not seeing today, if you're not participating in these things, you will realize that it's a very mature world. It's no longer a promise. And anybody, even if block one is looking to launch from a regulatory perspective, as well as from the, where the space is, where the DeFi space is, you cannot just come out and announce something and then wait for development. So I'm sure, and I hope, of course I'm not sure, but I hope that they are learning from what's happening around them. And this time around, when they launch this profile and when they're promising this liquidity, that it will probably be in the same way, the way this space is evolving, and that will define the success. And again, I'm equally waiting like you guys on what that would be. But I think more and more I read about it from something like that. Of course, the source of the information is still the same, because all of you know that they are not disclosing anything. So the source of information is still the what is happening in the Twitter feeds and so on from Brendan Bloomer. So I think that's where we are. All right, guys. So I think I will leave the floor open for questions. I think we have at the top of the hour tried to close this session if there are no more questions. Again, I keep reminding people that this is not something which means I do not encourage speculation ever. I think it's more of a matter of what you should do is participate in these projects. I think learn the opportunities. Even if EOS price has not gone up, I'm sure a lot of people who are participating in DeFi, they made a huge yield. Like EOS was responsible for 100%, 200% yields in EOS DeFi projects. If you were watching and if you're still a EOS token holder, if you missed those opportunities, then you should kick yourself for that instead of blaming that what Block One did not do or something. And these were all community projects. These were like projects which were built by things like DeFi Box, things like what the many DAOs are doing and so on. Like a lot of things which are happening right here in your community. And if you're not participating, you are missing out on those opportunities. And I think that's what is important for you to understand. Instead of saying what happens, I know so many people who have doubled their EOS just using DeFi participation, who have made a lot of returns in EOS itself. And that has been made possible for small investors, which is impossible for Ethereum, because Ethereum, when you put like a $5,000, you can never make money because of the gas fee. In EOS, people have done like very, very small investments and made huge money because that opportunity was there. And again, I don't want to go call out specific projects because that will be irresponsible on my part, because all of them come with their own risks, and you need to go and understand those things. It's not for like non-sophisticated investors, but that's the fun of DeFi. I think either you should participate directly or through other platforms which try to help you in a more responsible manner. So again, it's very difficult in this space to go give advice, but what I would like to highlight is these things existed. The platform has been successfully running. And I think EOS is definitely going to be something to watch out for if you're looking for scalable DeFi. Means people are missing out on this fact that the problem is not solved. And again, I keep going back to this page. Everything is here for you. If you think EOS made it, if you think that this is the Ethereum made it and Ethereum is successful, it's impossible for anybody to use this platform. I will just reload. Just now it's moved up to 95V, and a few days back this was 200. And let me just translate it for you. That 200V meant that if you want to participate in Ethereum DeFi like Curve, Yearn Finance, or Compound, any of those projects, you were paying $200 fee just to put in any investment. Even if you're putting like $1,000, you will lose 20% of your investment while just entering the project. Whatever yield you make doesn't matter. And when you withdraw, you have to pay another $200. So can anybody participating in that other than whales? So that is what is happening in Ethereum. Ethereum is only designed for whales. And this is not something which is going to scale. And this is like when we say crypto right now is for 1% people or maybe 0.1% people, Ethereum DeFi is for maybe just 1,000 people in the whole planet. And we have billions of people. So those 1,000 people are not going to make any finance product successful. When we look at what is happening, we started with this whole thing about what is happening with Wall Street bets and people taking on institutions. when they come in hordes, when they come in millions, they will look for something like EOS, where the transaction fee is zero. They will look at EOS because this can be scaled and thousands of transactions can happen per second. They are not going to look at Ethereum, where the fee is so huge and they have to wait for 10-15 minutes to confirm their transaction. So that is all I want to say before closing here. And thanks a lot for joining. Some people are asking if we will do more of these videos. We'll try to do, as I say, that it's very difficult to be a builder in this space and also try to keep the community together. And apologies from my side for not being able to keep up with this. And also it is just a thing which we want to do, and I would try to do as much as possible. Do join us on various different forums. As I said, these kind of things which I'm talking about right now, if you just go to Blockstart Ventures, let me go and remind you, we did webinars where they were open for registration, where people were asking questions to us directly in these, and these are some of the investors, like, whom we work with under the Blockstart Ventures. And we do these webinars, and we record a lot of stuff, and we have started posting. Earlier, we used to do these webinars, we never recorded them, and we realized that a lot of people can benefit from it. So these are freely available right now on our Blockstart Ventures YouTube channel. Do subscribe to that, and do watch those videos for our views on what's going on generally in this finance world and opportunities generally. And our vision of what is possible as this decentralization grows, as these opportunities grow, and especially how you should think as an investor. I think that's very important. You need to have a bigger picture. You cannot focus on one idea or other. You need to have a diversified approach. Those kind of things we discuss here. So do join there. And for investing with a difference, I think I will try to do as much as possible. One more thing I would like to highlight is, as I told you, I'm spending a lot of time in Clubhouse. This is a new social app, and we are creating a community there. So do join us there as well. Because the reason I spend time there is because there are very good participation from some of the best minds of the world right now, especially with this whole, what is happening in the world right now because of people sitting in their homes because of lockups and lockdowns and so on. I would say that we just want to participate and learn from those people. And it's a great platform. And I know it's not open, it's still invite only. So try to find a friend who can invite you and join there with us and discuss with and the best thing about that is we try to discuss there with everybody, like even Ethereum community is there. We have a lot of exciting projects we discuss with. And on the other hand, just to answer this question here, yes, we will do more streams, and I will try to keep up as much as possible. But again, as I keep reminding that it's not easy to be building as well as doing these kind of events. But definitely, I appreciate all the love we get here, and we will try to cross-post it. Unfortunately, we cannot bring the audience to Blockstart Ventures from Investing with a Difference. I will try to post it on our Telegram channel and our Twitter going forward. Whenever we do another stream in another channels, like for example, Clubhouse or any of these Blockstart Ventures YouTube webinars. So we are spread thin on all these things. So we are trying to see how much we can help each of these communities and let us know how we can help. So I will try to throw in some links here for you guys to, after the stream is over, I think I can edit it after some time, and I will try to throw in some links on all the places you can find us. But the best place would be to just join us on Telegram, and also I think join us on Blockstart Ventures. Thank you for now. I think I would like to stop here, and thanks again for joining all those people who joined live and asked questions, and looking forward to feedback on